Welcome to Spiritually Raw. We expose and explore controversial truths, myths, and theories surrounding the spirit world. Guests includes investigators, debunkers, and skeptics of the supernatural, unexplained, and flat-out unimaginable. Content discussed on this show is not necessarily the opinion of the cast of Spiritually Raw, and topics quite often are for mature audiences only. This show is not intended to replace any medical, financial, or legal advice and is for entertainment purposes only. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride. Welcome to Spiritually Raw, everybody. How are you? Hope you're having the most fantastic day. And, listen, I mean,
to be back in the saddle again.
It really does. It really does. It's kind of getting in a rhythm again. So
Hiatus.
we did. We missed you. We hope you
so
feel the
great.
same way about us, that you missed us too. But in the event you don't, we still brought on guests for you, right? So we got these amazing guests. And for all you light workers out there, have no fear. We have someone to rescue you. Lois Hermann is here with us right here. She's also got a cool show on Gnostic TV, which is you're going to be knowing about here, which is going to be very well known. You'll be seeing a lot of Warriors of Truth from Beyond. So don't forget to check that out. The links will be in the description below. So this is really cool. We really wanted to bring Lois out here to really find out what's going on in her journey in her life, what she's really been going through, and how she can help you in your journey in your life, right?
Absolutely. And if you would kindly take a quick moment and hit the like button to subscribe. And if at the end you love this show, we would greatly appreciate, and I know you will, to share the show. And also make sure to check us out, all of us, on Instagram. All of the links will be in the description below. Lois, it's been a minute. We haven't seen you in a little while, so we're so excited to regroup and get to, reconnect again. For those that are just watching for the first time, and you're like, who is this absolutely beautiful woman? This is Lois Hermann, and she's a success coach and a clinical hypnotherapist. She's also a channeler. We're going to talk about that. And Jay just mentioned, we're super excited. She has a new upcoming show on the Gnostic TV, Warriors of Truth from Beyond.
And she rescues light workers.
Yes.
And likes long walks in the sand. Lois, how are you? Good to see you again.
I am great. I'm very excited to be joining your team as with this new show. And it just came at the perfect time. And I am so grateful for you. Thank you. Thank you for what you're doing.
So let's get everybody to get in a rhythm with what they're going to experience when they watch their show. So what do you envision for the show? And I know we all get into creativity mode, and what do we think about it, like what the messages that we get. What are you finding? What was your spirit saying to you, Lois, when you do this? This is what you got to start getting out to people. What's that going to look like?
What I was hearing is, Lois, you must teach. You must teach constantly. You must teach. I have been dealing with the shadow side for over 30 years, actually longer than that. And I started an Inspiring Hope show about, 5 years ago, where I feature other people. I shine the light on other people. And yet there's so much information that I have been blessed and cursed and walked through in my life, that I know that I need to share so much of what I've learned. And it's not just me. I have a team of amazing light warriors that we get information through our channel sessions or through my client sessions. I'm sitting here as a scribe, and my client is speaking with Jesus, the real Jesus, because there are imposters out there. And he's saying, lighten up, you guys, take yourselves way too seriously. You need to enjoy this planet. So I have so much knowledge that it's in my notes and in my mind, and I have applied it to be able to survive and thrive in this world. And I know that I need to teach the light workers. So it's basically a remembering show. I'm going to be posing a lot of questions. My personal hero is Columbo. For those of you who remember the Columbo, the fumbling, the fumbling, what was he, an inspector?
Yeah, the inspector.
Private detective. And he always asked the stupidest questions, and yet he got to the answers. So my goal is to help you remember, help the beautiful light workers, starseeds, light warriors, to remember what they already know and give them a safe place to be able to ask questions and help me fumble through this, because this is a place to understand who we are, why we're here, because we've signed up for this journey.
You better
And
believe
we
it.
need all hands on deck right now. And so my mission is to help everyone to celebrate their unique gifts, skills, and talents, because we need every single light worker out there. We're the ones that are going to rescue, shift the vibe, save this planet. So my mission is to help each individual to be the best they can be.
Right
How
on.
fabulous. The real Jesus versus the imposter.
Mm.
How can you tell the real one?
Look to their eyes. So many of my clients say, "Oh, Jesus is my guide," and he's kind of snarly. I'm like, have you ever taken a look at his eyes? They're in trance. Have you ever? Yeah, his eyes are red or black. I'm like, that ain't Jesus. That's an imposter. And that imposter is going to cause disturbance in the life of this beautiful soul who thinks they're communicating with the real Jesus. Well, that ain't Jesus. There are many imposter souls like that, spirits. We're talking about fourth dimensional, right?
Right.
What we have to do is be discerning. I'm going to record my third show, and it's on discernment. How do you tell when you're communicating with a soul from the light versus a not so beneficial entity?
What are some tips on that? And discernment is a big
It's a
thing,
huge
especially because the
thing.
veil, I guess the proverbial veil seems to be getting thinner.
Absolutely.
What are just a couple of tips that you maybe be able to share with us that we can tap into to know, hey, wait a minute, that's not right.
Trusting yourself. Bottom line. We look outside ourselves. You've heard that story about, I dropped my keys. I'm going to go outside and look outside for the keys. The keys are in here. We need to trust our own intuitive wisdom and not seek for everybody else, because we never know what the other person's agenda is. We need to learn to trust self, to clear the energy, keep our energy clear and protected. I'm huge on setting sacred space. I had a priest that taught me 30 something years ago about setting sacred, about protecting energy, because there are energy vampires out there. Some of them are just people who are full of anger and hate. They don't real. There's not a maliciousness about it. It's just their energy drainers. There are others who are more calculated, shall we say. So the brighter your light, more apt you are to be a target. Either it's from someone, a spirit who has died, and they're looking for the light. Oh, and they see your beautiful glowing light. And what do? And then they bring their drama, emotional baggage to you. And it's like, why am I feeling this way? This isn't me. So you need to learn. Number one is protection. Number two is getting really clear on who your guides are. I mean, I talk to Archangel Michael all day. He's my bud. He's my coach. He's my guide. I vet through him.
How do you know it's him? How do you know? Because there's so many archetypes, there's so many energies of Archangel Michael. How do you know that it's the real Archangel Michael? And how can others tell?
He gets around.
He does. He's a busy guy.
He's a busy guy. Yeah. You can tell by how it makes you feel. He is a strong taskmaster, and yet he is kind and loving, and he fills you with beautiful, uplifting energy. Anything that is negative or causes you to question or doubt yourself, that's not a positive energy.
That's not a positive energy. So there are, for example, there are people out there channeling beings, and they claim that the being is here, and the being says, well, this is the wrath because you've done this, or this certain amount of people will be punished. What's your opinion on all this? So like with all this whole like ascension thing going on, and I guess on the spiritual world, maybe the religious world could probably equate it to the rapture kind of concept, if you would. What is your opinion on this? I mean, do you think there's going to be a somewhat of a the energy shift that literally takes people and vibrationally takes them off planet, off things, or do you just think it's just we coexist in different dimensions? How do you see this?
I think you're right. I think we're coexisting in different dimensions. The separation is we're living it right now. There are people who are decidedly in 3D. However, we can't judge because we never know when they're going to shift. It's not for us to judge. What I do know is when you're dealing with high-level being, they are always positive. They don't understand really the drama trauma that we experience on this level of Earth. Here we are. People say, well, there's extraterrestrials walking among us. And I say, that's what we are.
Exactly.
Yeah, maybe we're the extraterrestrials.
We've
Talking about-
decided, right?
Good, Lois.
Oh my God.
Yeah, we're here. And it doesn't feel right when we're around. We are so sensitive. We're so empathic. This is where the light workers, the star seeds who are here, we're here because we're here to make a difference. And we've been interfered with most of our lives. So when we get pure and clear and focused, we can truly connect with our guides, because when you're vibrating at that really high level, you don't feel pain or anger or sadness, right? They don't feel that. It's only when we come into the earth energy that our energy lowers. It takes some work to get up into that higher vibe energy. And when we're in that high vibe energy, then we can clearly communicate with the divine. And they're the ones that can help us do anything, but we must ask.
Mhm.
I consider that we're kind of like the scouts. We're part of that team. We are completely, truly a part of that team, embodied in a human form.
Mhm.
And yet we as a human can only do so much. They have incredible powers. We have to learn how to connect with our Pleiadian, our other galactic family that can help our ancestral families, our archangels, our angelic families. When we connect with them, we have incredible power. But they don't quite understand the pain we feel on planet Earth. So
Mhm.
we have to, it's kind of like, remember I Dream of Jeannie? Point there and fix that. So that's what I see our team does when we're working with the client and they're so bogged in this dense, heavy energy. We call these guides and they're just, they lift the energy. But the biggest lesson we've been taught is you must ask. They can't interfere. This is a free will planet. They cannot interfere with our free will, but they'll do anything that you ask within reason, of course.
Mhm.
But you're asking from the heart for yourself or for others. And it's a very amazing path to be on. And to watch these beautiful light workers who have been so burdened because they glow so brightly, we have developed ways to clear their energy and to let them shine. And it could be they're musically inclined. It could be artistic. Everybody has their own gift. But when they are stepping into their gift, it's shifting the energy of the planet. And that's our mission.
And that's our mission.
What's alignment hypnosis and how does that actually take place?
The ECA, this is something that, so 2 years ago, I've been a hypnotist for almost 30 years now. And I was trained by an amazing gentleman to deal with the spirit world, because I moved into a house with a ghost and I had to learn how to do this. And so for many years, I've been dealing with spirits in my own simple way. Now I've read all kinds of books on spirituality and spirits and ghosts and stuff like that. But what happened was back in 2020, now, if you were a client of mine before, you could go into trance. I do light trance work. You close your eyes and you can see in a mirror your aura. And then we look for spirits that might be around. And I call myself a spirit rescuer.
Spirit rescue.
Where we're these 4 spirits, most of the time, they're just lost souls. We just want to help lift them to a place of healing in the light. There's somebody who died, a mother that doesn't want to leave her child, a man who died in battle unexpectedly, just a child that was abused. So someone who is mad, scared. So we rescue these spirits. And then the client that has these spirits that are attached to them feels incredibly lifted, because you, as an empath, so we tend to pick up on the energy of these lost souls. It's simple stuff. That's what I've been doing for 30 years. And I would identify on occasion what I just called nasties. I didn't quite know exactly what they were, but I was taught When you find a nasty, you have them command all of those in their command into the light. Simple.
When you look at the oh, sorry, go ahead, Liz.
So what happened is in 2020, something happened, we all know, and all of a sudden nobody could see their auras anymore. Like, this is very strange. My team that had been working with me could see the auras, and all of a sudden, my spiritual team, my physical, personal, we had started doing remote clearing for people. So we would look at a picture and be able to clear their energy. Amazing story. So I had clients who would become my co-workers, my associates, and they could see auras. So we kept ourselves clear energetically, and we could see other people's auras. Well, all of a sudden, we're seeing, why are the auras mucky and ruddy and rusty? And what's all this metallic stuff in them? And Mother Gaia, who we communicate with, said, we're like, oh, sparkles, isn't this cool? And she's like, no. That does not belong in your organic human body. You need to clear that out of your body. Graphene oxide. We started finding all of this stuff, and then we would read about it in the, somewhere and go, oh my gosh, that's what we're seeing. So we work as a team now to clear people's energy fields. There's cloaks, there's shrouds, there's so much in order for them to be able to see their energy. There's some between the toxic food, the chemtrails, the stuff that's in our environment, and this other stuff that we've all been exposed to. There is a lot of stuff that's interfering in the spiritual energy field of the body. So we need to keep protected, aligned, and balanced on all levels: physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. Can't just work on one. We have to work on all four in order to be a fully empowered human.
And balanced.
Your team, you train these people to do this, so good for you for doing that. And to put it in perspective, you're bringing all hands on deck to really do this.
Right.
So this is a physical team
Yes,
that is there. So it's not a spiritual. There is obviously your spiritual team, but but you have that. You got a lot of different teams going on.
Yes,
you're hell of a captain there. And so you got these people. They all work together to help clear this. Can you help us to understand? I'd like to get your view on, nefarious forces. If there really are, I mean, are there really nefarious forces that are saying, we're out to get you now? There is this other side. We're out to get you. We're coming after you. We're coming after you. We're constantly there. Or are there just misinformed spirits and they're not vibrating there? Is it as simple as a different vibration and it's all it is? They live in their land and maybe they cross over, or are they people or entities coming through to really literally cause havoc? And how do you interpret all that?
Yes, and yes. There are a lot of simple energies, like I said, lost souls. Those are the simple ones. Those are the ones that we help lift. There's also energy, stuck energy based on emotional energy. Emotions will lower our auric field. Our aura is our real being. We think that we're spiritual beings having a human existence. I used to think that my spirit was inside of the physical. No, it's the other way around. My aura is, when I'm in a good place, my aura is huge, and it can get stuff stuck in it. So we clear the aura. We clear the people of the lost souls. That's really the base level. And a couple of years ago, I was challenged by someone who was a galactic person who said, he heard me say that I have been dealing with these, what I call nasties. I didn't communicate with them. They're nasty, they're ugly, they were lizard looking. And my clients would all describe them, And so it was just, they're ugly, we're getting them out of here. Shipping department, I'm FedEx. They just got to go. Well, he challenged me. He said, have you ever asked what they do to people?
Mm-hmm.
I said, no, they're ugly, nasty. I just get them out of there. But I'm up for a challenge. So I started with my team. We started asking, when we would find one, we would capture it, wrap it in light, and we would interrogate.
Mm-hmm.
Put on my Columbo hat and ask questions. These were what we would call reptilians, and they feed off of the energy of fear. They feed off of human suffering. That's their loosh. That is their energy source. So there are those that are feeding off of them. What we discovered, based on this gentleman's gauntlet that he threw down is that most of the light workers, when they come in utero, these amazingly brilliant reptilian type beings could sense, this is someone who could interfere with our well-being. So they would actually put implants in them. They would be either captured, taken up into a ship and put implants, or possibly in the bed. The mother would notice that there was a hologram would be placed in the bed. And we discovered hundreds, if not thousands, of light workers who would have devices planted in them. Now, the devices were not intended to kill. They don't want you dead. They were intended to lower your light, to keep you from achieving your goal, because your goal, us collectively together, we can reform this planet. We know that at a deep level. So many of these amazing light workers had devices planted in them to keep them from connecting to their guides, to keep some of the devices were things like, anytime you would be around people would get angry at you. Sweet, gentle soul, but other people would be angry. So then you felt uncomfortable. So you never felt good enough. Other devices might be wrapped on the pineal gland. Other devices might be wrapped on the spine, causing pain. What we discovered and were able to do, working with galactic beings, if we were to discover a device in a client, we would find how many other clients had similar devices, how many other people. So we've been neutralizing these devices around the world for about 3 years now. So what's happened is a lot of people who've had these devices are suddenly kind of waking up, but their trauma from what they've been through is still there. So we do a lot of work rescuing lost spirits and helping the light workers to step into their power.
Are you able to remove the technology?
Yes, absolutely. We don't do it. Okay, I want to be very clear. I am just the shipping department, and I work with, and this is a fun story. In the process of doing this, we uncovered a small gray and his name is Meter. We call him Meter. He was working for the reptilians back in Nazi Germany, doing the different, I know this is getting a little strange, but this is my world.
Not strange for us, not strange for us.
So he was so proud of the inventions. Now, we discovered the Nazi scientist. This was around a client, just a client session. We discovered a Nazi scientist who was grousy and nasty and no remorse whatsoever. We sent him packing. We give him to Archangel Michael. He knows to take them to a holding place for their crimes against humanity. They don't go into the light anymore. They go to a place where they'll be held accountable. Meter was very proud of his invention, this device that would cause pain to the human. And in talking, what we have been taught and told by Archangel Michael is you must never judge, because you never know when someone could shift. So no matter who we encounter, we always give them an opportunity to choose again.
Even Meter.
So when Meter said, oh my gosh, I didn't realize there was another choice. And we said, yes, you can reverse these devices. And he went into a level of such remorse and grief. It was unbelievable. And then he told us his story. He was captured by the reptilians. His family was killed, and he was taught as a young soul, a young being, to do this. And he was told, the more you do this, someday you're going to be able to go back to your planet. You're going to be able to be reunited. And that never happened. And he'd been doing this for centuries. So he was so proud of his choice to reverse these that he took it upon himself when to start doing more and more and more reversals, because he felt so much remorse. Now, there is a difference between a small gray and a tall gray. The tall grays work with the reptilians. They're like the managers. The small grays were the ones that are more of a vibrational match to the human.
Yeah.
The reptilians can't stand to be around the humans because, especially the light workers, because our light, the light of love, is like kryptonite to them.
Mhm.
That's what we use to dispel them, is the light of love. We stay in a high vibration and they can't touch us. But they would use these small grays to control. Well, we have rescued thousands and thousands of small grays, and they're going around and reversing all of the implants that were put in. And they'll come in and they're so proud of what they're doing now, and they've got swords and they're glowing because they are contributing and helping the humans.
Good grace.
That
So
is really
do you call
cool.
him, do you call him Meter because he's 3 feet high?
Yeah, a pretty
Is
well.
that,
He only had numeric numbers, so like a barcode number. And so we asked him, "What would you like to be called?" And he said, "Meter." We have meter. We have gear. We have wings. The human will give them their name. But yes, they're about 3 feet tall. You're about right.
about a meter. So, okay, let me ask you this. Getting to the light worker for a minute here. So, there's a thought process of, okay, well, there's no real victims per se, only willing participants, right? So when it comes to the light worker that seems to, like we see this a lot, right? I'm sure we all do. There's a light worker that comes with good intent, but constantly is looking into dark kind of scenarios that are happening, and they go there. Maybe they're not necessarily trained yet to get into that. I mean, would it be like, for example, like yes, we know there's like, obviously, like you understand how to use it and tag out when you need to, but is it fair to say there's a lot of light workers that are there to be light workers, but they're kind of sucked into what's going on in the dark kind of aspects of life, and they're not trained well enough, so
And they can't get out.
and they don't know how to get out.
They
So
don't know how to
in
get
that
out.
particular sense, does that accountability kind of flip back to them to some degree to say, hey, wait a minute, yeah, we'll help you, but you shouldn't be, or you know what I mean? Is there any of that going on?
Well, once they realize and they ask for help, the next goal is to give them the tools to keep from being seduced. There is such a seduction into this other side. So there's the reptilians, and there are very few of them left now. Most of them have been removed from the planet by us and other people like us. We're not the only ones, but that faction has gone. What has surfaced more now is the sorcery.
Sorcery. Okay.
There's a lot of people who are deliberately, they know how to use the power of negative prayer. And they are using that to conjure negative energy. And they're the ones that seduce these beautiful light workers into working with them. And so you're exactly right, Jay. They don't really know what they're dabbling in. You have people who dabble into witchcraft, unless you're very, very skilled at protection, you don't really know what you're getting into. And once you're sucked in, it's really hard to break free. So this is what our team does.
Well said.
Yeah.
I think that's articulated perfectly of really what is transpiring right now.
Yes. Yeah. I've seen many of these beautiful, beautiful souls that have good intent, and especially when you're out in the limelight, that get taken out, that get seduced into greed and too many other powers that take them away from their true spiritual intent. And they have to be, and it's not about, we need to be in an abundance. Absolutely. However, we have to be in spiritual abundance as well. It's really, really critical.
You know, what's interesting too, and it's seduced from a wealthy point of view, absolutely. But it's also seduction of the mind, telling them you can't have that because you will come across as not the real light worker, because the real light worker is supposed to be a pauper.
A martyr.
A martyr, exactly. So it's really on both sides of that scale.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I want to tag on to that. What about people that say, well, I was born here to, basically Jesus syndrome, I guess. I was born here to suffer for humanity, so you all don't have to do that. Where is that coming from in 2024? Where's that kind of thought process coming from? That I'm born here, I'm not supposed to, don't worry, I'll take a bullet for you because that's my thing and whatever. And why are a lot of spiritual people sick?
Well, you know what's very interesting, and this ties in with the Gnostic TV. I read the Gnostic Gospels close to 30 years ago. When you reached out to me about being on Gnostic TV, I'm like, I'm going to pull this off my shelf and reread it. And I reread it and went, holy cannoli, this is exactly, to answer your question, Jay, when the original Gnostics of Jesus's time, of which Jesus was one, he and Mary Magdalene, and that the faction of the more feminine disciples, because I was there. I have a memory of being there with Jesus, and I have many clients that have had memory of being there. So I have a lot of firsthand experience through trance work about what was going on. And when I reread the Gnostic Gospels, I thought, wow, this is what's happening. The Peter faction, the orthodoxy, the Orthodox Church was the one that really celebrated martyrdom. So this programming has been going on for thousands of years. You've got to be a martyr. That is the orthodoxy. The Gnostics were saying, not so much. I've got my own connection. I don't have to do that. So the Gnostics are the light workers who have their own pure connection. It's truly, and they were, when you reread this, the Gnostics were more persecuted than the pagans because they were a bigger threat to the Orthodox Church.
Because they were kind of internal, right?
They were internal. They didn't have to prove anything. It goes back to, if I have a knowing, I don't need to prove myself.
Thank you.
I don't have to make others believe, because what I want to do is help others find their own knowing. And when you have your own knowing, you're unshakable because you have the knowing versus a belief. A belief is adopted by someone else. So the Orthodox Church was, you must believe this way or else. So these people who were trained to believe a certain way, or they would have the martyrdom, the martyr syndrome, that's been indoctrinated for thousands of years. So people are trained to follow what they're told. It has been going on since Jesus's time. But that's not what Jesus taught.
That's not
Right.
Jesus said, you can do this too. Right?
Break that thought pattern, and they can with your help.
Right.
That's for sure.
Yes, that's the
Lois,
goal.
You're amazing. You're one of your amazing guests. It's great. It's great to have you on there. It's a real honor to have you on the network and really share that. We want to thank you for your dedication and your service to humanity and what you go through to help others have a better existence. So really much love to you for doing that. Warriors, Truth from Beyond, everybody. That show is going to be a hit. Links will be in the description below. All of Lois's other information, her YouTube channel, everything else you can find her will be in the description below also.
Thank you.
Any final words before you love and leave us?
Yes, one of the things that you had said a minute ago is other people are doing this. They think they're doing it. A couple of the people with me have been in training for a year and a half. It's experiential training. So I developed the Academy of Light so that people can start through the process of learning what I'm guided. I must teach. So I have been privileged to learn through the channel sessions that came through Gary on the Chronicles series. That's a whole nother story. And through these sessions with my clients, so many messages that need to be shared and empowered. So in this environment, it's a safe environment for people to learn to ask the questions, to really engage. And then if they do want to really embark upon a didactic learning opportunity, they can through the Academy of Light.
Links in the description below.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
We love
You
it.
are an amazing soul sister. It's really great to
thank
be
you.
here.
We're on a mission. We're on a mission here, by golly.
Truly.
We really are.
And to check out, again, more of Lois's new show on the Gnostic TV network, Warriors Truth from Beyond. All the links will be in the description. In the meantime, everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. And remember, tune in often, tell all your friends, and most importantly, may all your dreams come true. Many blessings.
Many, many blessings.
We'd like to share a story. While it may sound fictional, it's very real and happening right now in front of our very eyes. It's called The Great Awakening. Our sisters and brothers that come on Spiritually Raw are doing everything to help expand global consciousness, and in many cases putting everything on the line to share their messages about what's happening around the world for the greater good of humanity. We are living in the most unbelievable times. Some may even say biblical, scary for many and yet exhilarating for others. Together we are taking part in getting everyone acclimated to the Great Awakening process and the exciting new discoveries that lie ahead. The sad part is many of our amazing guests are being heavily censored, socially shamed, and outright banned on many platforms for exposing the truth and piercing the veil. By becoming a viewer, you bring your powerful energy towards this global movement of other truth seekers. If you're resonating with our show, please let us know by hitting the like button, sharing, subscribing, turn on the notification, and leave some comments. Together, we will turn the universal key to global harmony and create a unified world. And remember, tune in often, tell all your friends, and most importantly, may all your dreams come true. Thanks and God bless Patriots worldwide.